All right. Hello and a warm welcome to today's webinar. My name is Noel. Thrilled to be your host this afternoon on behalf of DVCOM and DrayTek. I belong to the marketing team and it's a pleasure to have all of you here. We have an exciting session planned for you today featuring Mr. Sheshu from the DVCOM training team. He will be sharing some fantastic tips and tricks for DrayTek networking. So whether you are an experienced professional or just beginning your journey in this field, I am pretty confident that today's discussions will be both informative and engaging. So before we dive into the presentation, let me give you a brief introduction about DVCOM. DVCOM Technology is a specialized value-added distributor in the Middle East, representing some of the most dynamic vendors in the industry. Our expertise lies in unified communication, email collaboration, networking, cloud, digital security, physical security, audiovisual conferencing, and interactive display solutions. Our primary goal is to offer our customers, which is you, the best-in-class technology solutions and services that caters to your needs, specific needs, and helping you achieve your business goals. So we value your participation and encourage you to share your thoughts, questions, or comments throughout the webinar. We will do our utmost to address as many of them as possible during the Q&A session at the end of the presentations. Now it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the webinar. So I'm handing it over to Mr. Sheshu.
Thank you, Noel. Good afternoon, guys. I hope everybody is fine. So before I'm going to start my webinar, can you please confirm that that my voice is audible? Just you can raise your hand so that I can understand that everybody is able to hear my voice. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I hope it's audible. So guys, today the main goal is that we are going to discuss about the tips and tricks. But before I'm going to start my webinar, like the session, then I just want to give you some brief overview about DrayTek. Because since if you are new to the DrayTek and what type of products are there and how it's going to helpful. But most of you guys, I have seen a couple of names here. They're very much familiar about DrayTek and they have done very good projects as well. I know it. So I hope that the remaining people also there, I mean, we are expecting to very big projects in DrayTek. So as you know that DrayTek is mainly focusing on the networking products. So I just give you some brief overview, guys. Then after that, we will proceed for our today's webinar. Yeah. So I'll share my. So by the way, everybody can see that PPT, right? The presentation. Right. So if you have any questions, you can type it, guys, in the chat window. I'm going to address it now because moreover, this session is mainly we are focusing, interactive session because we just want to ask a couple of questions and we are going to build the solutions for it. That's what our main agenda. Yeah. So the first thing is that let's go and give the brief overview about DrayTek. As you know that DrayTek, mainly they are classified into switches, routers, wireless access points, and ACS. So by the way, ACS is one of the very good, especially if you want to manage and control your device from central dashboard, like your DrayTek switches, DrayTek routers, and DrayTek access points. It's a cloud-based solution, guys. In case if you don't try, and you can just send us an email to your respective account manager from DVCOM, and they are going to create for you the demo account so that you can just test it out. So that, irrespective of maybe you are going to request your people, I just want to access your router or switch, please give me any desk and all, you no need to do that. In case if you have a ACS, then you can access your devices from anywhere in the world. It's completely a cloud-based solution. It's a SaaS model. So if anybody wants to try, in case if your partners or if you have customers, if they are having a DrayTek switches, routers, and access point, you can manage from the single dashboard. So that's the beauty of ACS. So please let me know if you want to have a special session for you guys. I'm ready to arrange it for you. So again, as you know that DrayTek has classified into switches, routers, and wireless access points. So first, let's go and talk about the switches. So any network, guys, if you want to start any networking, as you know that we are going to start with the switches, because all our endpoints like your desktops, laptops, IP phones, IP cameras, your printers, whatever devices which is related to the networking, they are going to connecting to the switches. So switch is the very important device, guys. So mainly any network, whenever you are going to connect, whenever you want to start, you are going to start with the switch. So basically the switches are going to do the switching. So switching is nothing but forwarding a frame, not a packet, guys. I'm talking about frame, forwarding a frame from source to destination. So that is the job of your switches. So let's go and see what are the products, means what type of switches are available in DrayTek, how it's going to helpful for your customer to build their network. Let's go and have a look. So in DrayTek, we have a layer 2 and layer 2 plus switches. So there is a most of the people, as you know, that layer 2 means it's a data link layer. It works on the based on your MAC addresses. Then what is layer 2 plus? So the layer 2 plus is nothing but it's going to do the switching as well as it does the routing. So for example, in layer 2, what we are going to do, we are going to configure the couple of VLANs, right, guys? Most of the time, based on the customer requirement to do the logical segregation, we are going to configure the VLANs. So to create the VLANs, we are going to provide some kind of security to your network. So VLAN is nothing but, as you know, that you are going to divide a single broadcast domain into multiple broadcast domains. That's what the technically, but mostly what we are going to do based on your customer requirement, we are going to create the VLANs like user VLAN, server VLAN, management VLAN, Wi-Fi VLAN, guest VLAN, like that different VLANs that we are going to create based on your customer requirement. So in layer 2 switches, what you can do, mainly we are going to configure the VLANs that are, then after that we are going to shift the ports. So this is one of the very important, guys, for any organization. Whenever they're distributed, their multiple users are there and their network is distributed into different locations within the building. So that time we are going to take a layer 2 switches and we are going to configure the VLANs. Then as per the requirement, we are going to shift the ports according to that. Then again, if you go with layer 2 plus switches, you can do the switching as well as routing. So the routing is nothing but, let's say I have created a server VLAN and I created a user VLAN. Let's say user VLAN wants to communicate to the server VLAN to access the servers. So in case if your switch doesn't support routing, then all the way what you are going to do, you are going to keep the router. In the router, you are going to do the routing between these VLANs. But again, it's one hop away. So I don't want to do that. In case if you have a layer 2 plus switches, the advantage is that you can do the switching and you can do the routing. So that's the beauty of that. That again, if you see, we have a 8-port switches, 10-port switches, 12-port switches, 16-port switches, 24-port switches, and 48-port switches. So based on your requirement, you can choose like, for example, I want to connect 20 devices in my network. Because some customers, they have a users which they want to connect like a 20 users, then you can proceed for 24 port switch. So some customers, they have a more than 24 ports they required because they want to connect different devices. Maybe the employees are more. So that time you can go with 48 port switches. So according to your choice, you can choose it. In case if you have a multiple, like I have a requirement like 200 users they want to connect. So you can go with multiple 48 port switches according to your choice. And again, we have a switches which can support PoE and non-PoE switches. So this is one of the very interesting, guys. So PoE is nothing but power over Ethernet. So for example, if you are going to connect IP phones or IP cameras, those devices is required a power. So that's why we have a switches which can support PoE. And by the way, these 8-port or 10-port or 12-port or 16 or 24 ports, guys, the interesting thing is that these ports are the gigabit ports. And also we have let me write it for you guys to understand. These are the gigabit ports. And also we have a multi-gig ports as well. We have a multi-gig ports as well. By the way, are you able to see my writing, guys, what I'm trying to write? Can anyone confirm with me? Because I'm trying to write something to make you, yeah. Are you able to see? Somebody raised their hand. Can you please type it in the chat window? Guys, you are my partners, so that the first priority for the partners. Yeah. So that whenever challenges you are finding while you are deploying your network, please, you can reach us at any time. Yeah. So that we are there to help you out. but I'm not sure, guys, what's wrong with that. But unfortunately, I'm not able to. Yeah. Yeah, let me write it again. I'm not sure. I think just a minute, guys. Let me sort out this. I believe now I can. Yeah, one sec. Let me. Yeah, I think now you guys can see it. Yeah. Can you please confirm, guys? Now I think you are able to. Before, what I didn't share my whole screen. I just shared the PPT. That's the reason you're not able to see it. Yeah. Oh, mic is disabled. No, mic is not disabled. Can you please confirm, guys? All right. So now you can able to see it, I believe. So basically we have a switches which can support, because most of these switches, guys, these are the gigabit switches. So the gigabit, and we have a multi-gig switches also there, guys. So this is one of the beautiful thing. So gigabit switches is nothing but it's going to support 1000 Mbps, which means these are the 1 Gbps ports, and some of the switches we can support multi-gig. So multi-gig is nothing but, guys, we are going to support 1 Gbps as well as 2.5 Gbps. So these are the multi-gig switches. So basically this multi-gig switches we are going to use to connect your Wi-Fi 6 technology, guys. So let's say that if the customer is buying a Wi-Fi 6, as you know that it's coming more than 3 Gbps speed, but your switch is going to support only 1 Gbps, so that you cannot able to reach that speed. So that time what you are going to do, you need to suggest your customers to go for the multi-gig switches. So that's the beauty of that. And end users and all, it's okay for them to connect with 1 Gbps. That's the beauty of this. So make sure that whenever you are going to choose the switches, it's always recommends that what type of switch that you are going to give, and what type of devices you are going to connect. That's very, very important, guys. So the second thing is that we have a PoE and non-PoE switches. Again, PoE is nothing but it's a power over Ethernet. And we have a switches which can support PoE as well as PoE plus. So the PoE is nothing but it's going to support 15.4 watts, and IEEE standard is the .AF. This is the IEEE standard. And PoE plus is nothing but it's going to support 30 watts power, guys. So maybe you will find sometimes, especially some cameras or some IP phones, they required PoE plus power. So that time, make sure that you need to choose the switch. By the way, in the DrayTek, we have a switches. Those switches can support PoE and PoE plus. But again, please go through the specifications whenever you are going to suggest to your customers. Right, there is a question, guys. I'm going to answer it at the same time. Okay, somebody is trying to say. I'm not sure that. Sir, can you please repeat it again? You are trying to ask some question. All right, we will address it at the end of this session. Yeah, that's better. Right, guys. The next one is that all are the managed switches. So this is the beauty of this one, guys. And we don't have any unmanageable switches. We have all our managed switches. So managed switches means you can just connect to the switch and you can configure the VLANs. You can do the fine tuning like spanning tree protocol. If you want to configure it, yes, you can configure it. In case if you want to configure DHCP snooping, yes, you can configure it. In case if you want to do a ARP inspection, yes, you can do that. In case if you want to configure some security related features. And also one more thing, guys, link aggregation that we are going to support in our switches. So you can combine multiple interfaces, multiple physical interfaces, and it's going to act as a single virtual interface. That is also possible. So the advantage of DrayTek switches is that all switches are the managed switches. So managed switches means you can do the fine tuning, the configurations and all. It's not like a plug and play. You can do some additional fine tuning. So that's the beauty of that. And the second one is that there is a can manage through GUI. Wow. So GUI means graphical user interface. So whatever configurations that you are going to do, you can do it through GUI. So as you know that, anybody tell me please, what is the default IP address in case if you are using DrayTek switches? What is the default IP for DrayTek switches, guys? Any idea? Noel, is there any gift that who's going to give answer? Oh, okay. There is a gift. Perfect. Guys, if anybody knows that, you just type a message there. So at the end of this session, okay, if you guys are working with the DrayTek switches, please let me know what's the default IP address for the DrayTek switches. And by the way, what is the default username and password? That is also, if you know it, please type it in the chat window. Yeah. All right. Right. Already some people trying to send an answers. That's okay. No, that's wrong. Try your level best. Please don't Google it. Try your level best. Try your level best. Don't Google it. Yeah, people are trying to give you answers. No. Okay. At the end of this session, I'm going to reveal it, guys. And next one is that we have a uplink ports, SFP and SFP plus. This is one more advantage, guys. Yeah. This is one more advantage. So SFP is nothing but it's a fiber, guys. It's a 1 gig fiber. So basically the fiber we are going to use, if you are for example, you have a multiple switches and you want to connect from one switch to another switch. Maybe the distance is coming more than 100 meters. So that time you are going with the fiber. So we have a fiber ports which can support 1 gig as well as 10 gig. So SFP plus is nothing but 1 gig and 10 gig, guys. So here the very good example that I want to give it to you. Let's say we have a MDF room. So MDF room, or you can say the server room. Okay, guys, let's say MDF room or server room. Let's say here I kept my main switch, and that switch, it's connected with the servers, it's connected with the main firewalls, it connects with your call manager, everything. And let's say I have a IDF room somewhere else here. Let's say this is my IDF room 1 and this is my IDF room 2. So in that case, IDF room 1 and IDF room number 2. So in that case, unfortunately, the IDF room between MDF and IDF, the distance is more than 100 meters. That time, what you can do, guys, you can just simply pull the cable, fiber. You can tell to your cabling team, pull the fiber. Why? Because our switches, by default, it comes with the fiber ports. Either you can go with 1 gig fiber or you can go with 10 gig fiber. That's the beauty of that. Then after that, you can see here, I just made a connection between my MDF to IDF room. Then after that, here I have connected again, and I can use either 1 gig or 10 gig, guys. And again, whenever it comes to the fiber, we are going to support multi-mode fiber as well as single mode fiber, guys. Okay. And again, the transceivers compatibility list, and you can take any vendor, the transceivers, then which is standards, the transceivers which is available in the market, which is open standard. You can use any transceivers which is going to support, but specifically if you want to check which is very compatible, and if you are getting a doubt whether these transceivers are going to work or not, then that time you can just go to the DrayTek website. There is a compatibility list is there. So if anybody wants, I'm going to share it with you guys. That's not a problem for you. So that's the beauty of that. So what I can do, I can just keep one switch here and I will connect it. That's it. Here also I can keep one switch, I can connect it. So I can use the 1 gig fiber or 10 gig fiber, and this is going to act as my uplink between my MDF to IDF room. So that's the beauty of that, guys. So basically why I'm most of the time, all your networks are going to start with your layer 2 or your switches only, because basically all your endpoints is going to connecting to your switches. So the switching selection is very, very important, guys. And in case if you have a multiple IDF rooms, multiple MDF rooms, you can, if you want to make a communication between them, make sure that the backbone, you can go it as a fiber. So this is what exactly the switching portfolio. All right, guys. So now let's go and see it. What type of switches we have, because why I'm showing to you practically. So in case if you are at the customer site, maybe you are planning to design by your own. So where you want to go and you want to get the information about your switches. So that time just go to open your browser. Then you can type here www.draytek.com. Then after that, you can see here there is a products. Inside the products, you can able to see here, just click on all switches. So the beauty of that, if you want to see only PoE switches, yes, you can just click on it and you can go and see it. And you just click on all switches here, you can able to find it here. Guys, you can see here, we have a switch which is PQ2200XV. So this is your multi-gig switches, guys. So here the P is indicating that that's your PoE. Then again, the Q is indicating that it's like a multi-gig switches, guys. So whenever you see Q, then it's indicating that multi-gig. So multi-gig is nothing but this switch is going to support 1 gig as well as 2.5 Gbps. And beauty of this switch is going to support PoE, PoE plus and PoE plus plus, guys. Oh, it's a surprise, man. PoE plus plus is nothing but it's like a 90 ports. Here, the first 4 ports are going to support PoE plus plus, guys. And rest of the ports, they support PoE and PoE plus. That's not a problem. And again, you can see here, there is a 4 ports which can comes with the fiber, and it can support 1 gig SFP, or it's going to support 10 gig SFP, guys. So in case if you want to connect to either 1 gig or 10 gig, you can connect it. So that's the beauty of that. So let's say that if you have your main MDF room that you are going to connect like your servers, and you are going to connect like your call manager, or that's you are going to connect, the main components in your network, we are going to keep it in MDF room. From there, if you are going to connecting to your remaining IDF rooms, then you can use it either 1 gig or 10 gig SFP or SFP plus. So that's the beauty of that. And you can see here, this is the switch. So for very fast moving switch, guys, this is one of the very fast moving switch, which is PQ2200XP. And also we have one more switch, which is PQ2121X. So this is actually, it comes with the, if you guys can see here, it comes with the 12 ports, guys. And if you guys see here, this comes with the 20 ports. And also it's very easy to identify these ports and all, guys. If you see here, the 2 is nothing but it's like a second generation, and 20 is nothing but it's like a ports. And you can see here, it's showing 12. So 12 is nothing but it's a 12 ports. And here there is a X is indicating that it says a fiber ports as well. And by the way, there is one more switch, which is most of the people, they are going to take this switch. You can see here, there is a P2540XS. So here the first 48 ports are the 1 gig ports, and the remaining 6 ports are the fiber ports. So these fiber ports, you can use it for either 1 gig or you can use it for 10 gig. That's the beauty of that. So these are the switches, guys. So according to your requirement, you can choose it and what switches you are looking for. And by the way, we have a 24 ports also there. Along with 4 ports, you are going to get the fiber. And we have a layer 2 plus managed switch. And managed switch is nothing but, as I mentioned to you, the layer 2 is nothing but it does switching, and layer 2 plus is nothing but it does switching and routing. So this is the beauty of the switches, guys. And you can see here one more difference. Whenever you don't find like a P, so these are the non-PoE switches. So by the way, if you guys are see here, there is no P, it starts with G. And whenever I told you the Q, it's a multi-gig switches. All right, guys. So whenever you see here G, so this is like a non-PoE switch. This is non-PoE switch. So that's how you are going to identify the DrayTek switches. I hope everybody is clear for this. Yeah. And one more thing, guys, this is what I just want to mention. One more interesting thing is that in DrayTek, we have this fiber switch as well, guys. It's one of the very beautiful switch, and it comes with all fiber ports. So the beauty of this, if you have a multiple uplinks, maybe your network is distributed into different IDF rooms, then you can go with the pure fiber switch. And by the way, this is going to support 1 gig as well as 10 gig. These are all your SFP and SFP plus ports. Either if you want to connect 1 gig and 10 gig, and it support your multi-mode, and its support is going to single mode. The choice is yours, guys. Yeah. And it has a console port. If you want to troubleshoot, you can troubleshoot it. As I mentioned to you earlier, all your DrayTek switches you can configure through your GUI. So that if you have a basic idea about switching, yes, you can able to do it as well. And also we have a switches. Okay, there is a question. Yes, SFP modules, Cisco is going to compatible, sir. Yeah, and recently in one of the project, I just want to mention to you, that's thanks to remind me, there is in Cisco, we have like a SFP, LH, SMD. there is a single mode 1 gig transceivers are there. We have connected there because the customer, he wants to go with the Cisco transceivers because they have existing transceivers. They said that can we able to connect it. So we have connected and it's working fine without any issues. Yeah. So even if you want, you can try with SFP 10G SR, SFP 10G LR. So there is a different port numbers, especially in the Cisco, you can try it. Yeah, even in the market, I have seen when I was working for Expo project sometimes with one of the partner, that time the partner, he brought the D-Link transceivers, SFP and SFP plus transceivers. It was working fine without any issues. Yeah. So I hope this is answered for you. Yeah. Do you have a 10G SFP with Cat7 copper? So you are talking about DAC cable, sir. We have a DAC cable. Yeah. We have a DAC cable. So if you want, you can go for it, the DAC cable as well. Yeah. So that is also there. So that, I'm going to share it with you as well. Okay, sir. All right. So next one is that we have a web smart switches. So these web smart switches, it doesn't come with the console port, and these also you can manage through your GUI. So that's the beauty of that. And these also, it comes with the PoE and PoE plus, and it has a only 1 gig SFP. It doesn't come with 10 gig. So that's what, as per your requirement, you can choose it. So these are again smart light switch. Similarly, like it comes with 8 ports. So this is what the complete switching portfolio, guys. So now let's go and discuss about one of the scenario. Yeah. So that actually somebody is trying to ask me, oh, okay. So we don't have that cable, sir. Yeah, we don't have it Cat7 copper cable, and we have a DAC cable actually. Yeah, direct attachment cable. So that it comes with 1 gig or 10 gig, and you can go with either 1 meter or 3 meter. The choice is yours. Clear? All right. So let's go and have a discussion about one small solution, guys. Let's go and have a look. So for example, let's open my text editor. All right. I hope everybody is seeing my text editor as well. All right. Right, guys. So right now I have a switch here, because in the DrayTek, you need to understand this one, guys. I have a switch, and in this switch, let's say this is my 48 port switch. In 48 port switch, what is my plan? I just want to configure the multiple VLANs. Let's say I want to configure the user VLAN. All right. And I want to configure the voice VLAN. I want to configure the camera VLAN. Then I want to configure the server VLAN. Okay, guys. And I want to configure the guest VLAN. So based on my requirement, I want to configure multiple VLANs. So if you see here, these many VLANs I'm going to configure as per the customer requirement, so that every VLAN, what we are going to do, we are going to identify the VLAN ID. So let's say that I'm going to keep for user VLAN is 10, and for voice VLAN 20, for camera VLAN 30. So this is your VLAN ID. So every VLAN we are going to identify with the number. So let's say the user VLAN, we are going to identify it VLAN number like a 10, and for voice VLAN 20, for camera VLAN 30, for server VLAN 40, for guest VLAN 50. So what you can do, guys, you can directly configure these VLANs without any issues. So what I will do, I'll just go to the demo site. So maybe you have a question that where to configure these VLANs, how it's going to configure. I just go through it, guys. Let's go and have a look. Let's go and have a look. So we have a demo site. In case if you want to test any of the devices, it's easy for you. Just you can go to the products, and you can see here there is a live demo. So click on that. So once you go to the live demo, you can see here, because guys, why I'm demonstrating these things, maybe once if you want to see how the console is going to looks like, maybe you work only on the DrayTek routers, but you didn't work on the DrayTek switches, maybe access points, but you want to see how the console is going to looks like. So that time what you can do, you just come to the live demo site. Then after that, you just select the switches. So let's say that I want to test the switch, which is 2540X. So just you can click on this switch. Then after that, you can click login. Then you can able to log in. So you guys can see here, it has a nice dashboard, guys. And also from these dashboards, you can able to see what are the devices. Because imagine that if you have a switch at the real time at the customer side, the moment when you log in at first time, you can see the nice dashboard. Through the dashboard, you can able to see how many ports are active, how many ports are inactive. You can able to see the both information. And by the way, you can see here the color which is showing in the green, which means these ports are connected with 1 Gbps. The ports which is showing in orange, which showing with 10 or 100 Mbps. So those are the Ethernet ports and these are the gigabit ports, so that you can able to see it, guys. And again, to configure the VLAN, just you can go here. And by the way, everybody can see here in the switch LAN, just go to the VLAN management, and there you can able to create the VLANs. Just click on the create VLAN, and you can guys see here. So there is a couple of VLANs which is already created. So while you are going to create the VLANs, just before you are going to plan whatever things you want to do it, make sure that first design yourself. Like what I told you, that I'm planning to create VLAN number 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So just you can specify the VLAN ID. Then after that, you can specify the name of the VLAN. Then you can simply just say it's a user VLAN. Then simply you can click apply. By the way, here in this demo site, I cannot do anything, guys. That's why I'm not able to show it to you. But in case if you want to see like exactly the real devices and all, you can just subscribe our YouTube channel. There is, I already uploaded some videos. You can just go through it. Or else if you want to come to our office, you can visit at any time and you can just take a switches and you can play with that, because most of the time on every Saturday from afternoon 12 onwards, I will be here in the office. So any of your partners, if you feel that, Seshu, we just want to come there and we want to demonstrate, we want to see it, how the each and every feature is going to work, you are always welcome. And one more interesting thing is that in the DrayTek, very good thing is that in the DrayTek, you have the complete document, guys. There is a knowledge base for each and every topic. You have a document so that you can go through each and every document and you can. But most of the things what we are going to cover it, because first thing is that the VLANs is the common. So any customer, if you are going to visit, most of the time, if you have a layer 2 switches and all, they expect to configure some kind of VLANs. So you just create the VLANs here. Then after that, go to the interface settings. From the interface settings, you can shift the VLANs, guys. So this is what I'm going to talk about. So first of all, guys, you can see here, you can select the port. So from here, you can select like gigabit Ethernet 1 or 2, or you can select the multiple ports. Then after that, you can see here the access port is nothing but which is belongs to a single VLAN. So for example, you are going to keep one, for example, gigabit Ethernet 1. Okay, let's say that this is your gigabit Ethernet 1. Just I want to keep this one into my user VLAN. So basically the access port is nothing but it belongs to a single VLAN. That's called access port, because I'm going to discuss about which is very important and most of the things what we are going to do in the day to day. Okay, guys. And whenever you say access port is nothing but it's a single VLAN. So the device is belongs to a single VLAN. We can call it as a access port. And some people, they are going to say VLAN unaware devices, because some devices like your laptops, desktops, they don't know what is VLAN. And those devices also we are going to keep it as a access port. Hope you guys are clear. So for example, if you see here, let's say that I just want to keep port number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This belongs to VLAN number 10. So that what I can do is just select 10 access port. Then after that, you can specify PYID, per VLAN identifier. Just select 10. Then after that, you can simply click apply, then automatically it's going to select it into VLAN number 10. So that's how we are going to assign the ports into the single VLAN. Hope you guys are clear, guys. Any questions related to the access VLAN? Because most of the time, whenever you are going to shift the ports, make sure that on which port for which user is going to connect. Based on that, we are going to shift the ports. Let's say here, port number 1 to port number 10, I want to use it for user VLAN. So simply I can select and I can make it as a access port. Then I'm going to give PV80, per VLAN identifier. I'm going to say that this belongs to VLAN number 10. And this is, we can call it as a untagged VLAN. Clear, guys? Any other questions related to the access VLAN? And again, if you are going to shift the remaining ports, let's say that the remaining ports, let's say port number 1 to 10, I'm belongs to VLAN number 10. Port number 11 to 15, I'm going to keep it into VLAN number 20. You can do it according to your choice. You can shift the ports. It's very simple and straightforward, guys. You can just select the ports here. Then after that, you can select the VLAN mode as a access. Then after that, you just specify the VLAN ID. That's it. Then if you want to see the result, what impact it's there, just you can go down here. You can see each and every port on which VLANs it's configured, so that you can have a complete visibility on that. All right. The next important thing is that it's a trunk, guys. So trunk is very interesting thing because everybody has to know about the trunk. So in case if you have a multiple switches, but again, guys, I just want to say one simple scenario. Let's go and draw it the simple scenario. Let's say one of our customer, he just want to go with only 15 to 20 users. So what you have done, you have taken a 24 port switch. Okay. You have taken a 24 port switch. Let's say I have given to the 24 port PoE switch to the customer. Maybe he wants to connect some IP phones, or he wants to connect the CCTV, like, IP cameras or some devices. So now let's say port number 1 to 5, I kept into VLAN number 10. Okay. And maybe you have a question. Some maybe if it is a small customers and you don't want to create any VLANs, there are very few users and they don't want to create any VLANs. So by default, there is a default VLAN, which is VLAN number 1. So you don't need to create any VLANs, guys. By default, the switch is going to comes with VLAN number 1, and you can keep everybody into the single VLAN. But let's say according to your customer requirement, you just configured VLAN number 10 and you configured 6 to, let's say, 15 ports. 6 to till 15, then I'm going to keep it into VLAN number 20. So this is what I did it. Then after this, now we need to assign the IP address. So to assign the IP address to these users, what you are going to do, guys, usually we are going to connect into the router. So again in the DrayTek routers, especially whenever you are going to talk about the DrayTek routers, in the DrayTek router, we have a concept called port based and tag based. Okay, guys, if you don't know that, please let me know. I'm going to explain to you. There is a port based and there is a tag based. Port based VLAN and tag based VLAN. So especially in the DrayTek routers, if you see here, there is a multiple ports are there. So what you can do here, you can take one port into VLAN number 10, you can keep it. Another port, you can keep it into VLAN number 20. So the DrayTek router, what it will do, it's going to act as a gateway. Are you clear, guys? It's going to act as a gateway for your VLANs. So inside the DrayTek router, what you can do, you can configure your DHCP. You can enable your DHCP pool for VLAN number 10 and VLAN number 20. Then after that, you can configure your DNS as per your requirement. Then after that, what you can do, there is a WAN ports, you can directly connecting to the internet. So now these people, directly they are going to communicate to the internet. So that's the beauty of your DrayTek routers as well, guys. I hope everybody is clear. So this is a basic, simple topology. Let's say that sometimes maybe we have a tag based also. For example, some customers, what they do, maybe some engineers, they are going to do like this. They are going to take a DrayTek router. And inside the DrayTek router, they are going to take one of the interface. And let's say I'm going to use P2. The interface is P2, which means port number 2. And here, what I'm going to do in my DrayTek switch, I'm going to configure the VLANs. So let's say this is my VLAN number 10. So the port number 125 belongs to VLAN number 10, and port number 6 to 15 belongs to VLAN number 20. So here we can able to configure it as a tag based also. So the tag based is nothing but we are going to configure this port. Let's say this is the port which is like a 22, port number 22 at the switch side. I'm going to configure it as a trunk. And inside the trunk, what I'm going to do, I'm going to allow the VLAN number 10 and VLAN number 20. I'm going to allow these two VLANs. And here in port number 2 at the DrayTek side, I'm going to tag these two VLANs, VLAN number 10 and VLAN number 20, I'm going to tag. So from single virtual interface, the physical interface, I'm going to configure 2 VLANs. So I'm going to carry the information about 2 VLANs. Then after that, what I can do, I can configure the DHCP for VLAN number 10 along with the DNS, and DHCP I can configure for VLAN number 20 along with the DNS. Then after that, you can just take a internet connection and you can connect it directly. So this is one way of doing, guys. So some customers, especially some engineers, what they are going to do, they just use the single physical interface to carry the multiple VLANs. That is also possible. So, but in that case, what you have to do in the switch side, you need to configure it as a trunk. And whatever ports you are keeping from 1 to 5, these ports, we can call it as a access ports. And again, the access ports are belongs to a single VLAN, which is VLAN number 10. And again, 6 to 15, these ports, we can call it as a access ports. And these ports are belongs to VLAN number 20. And the port which is connected between your switch to the DrayTek router, which is port number 2, we will configure it as a trunk port. So the trunk port, what it does, it's going to carry multiple VLANs information, like a 10 and 20. Then after that, inside your DrayTek router, you are going to configure 2 virtual interfaces on your physical interface, which is P2. That is for VLAN number 10 and VLAN number 20. So after that, you can configure the DHCP on DNS. Then if you want, you can connect directly to your ISP. That's how it's going to work, guys. So because all these configurations, it's very easy and straightforward. In case if you say that, no, man, I don't want to configure any VLANs. So simply you can take your DrayTek switch, connect it directly to your DrayTek router. So, and whatever by default in the DrayTek, the default IP address is 192.168.1.1, and it is belongs to a LAN 1, single LAN. Then after that, it's by default, the DHCP is enabled here. Okay, guys, and you can directly connecting to the internet. And the beauty of the DrayTek is that you don't need to write any policies, right? Okay, guys, you don't need to write any policies, because if you see in other vendors, they will say that you need to write a policy from LAN to WAN policy. Then only your internet traffic is going to allow. But whereas in the DrayTek, you don't need to write any policies or anything. That's the beauty of that. The moment when you are connecting the LAN interface, when you are connecting to the WAN, automatically it's forwarding your information to the internet. And also, if you want to see the routing table, you can able to see the routing table also. In case if you want to see the DHCP, you can able to see the DHCP table as well. If you want to see the ARP table, you can able to see it, guys. These are the beautiful things that you can do it. But mainly in the switching, guys, mostly we are going to focus it on access ports and the trunk ports. So the access port is nothing but it belongs to a single VLAN. The trunk port is belongs to a multiple VLANs. So let's say that as per your customer requirement, whenever you are going to create a multiple VLANs and you are shifting the ports, then you are going to keep it as a access port. And in case if you are going to make a uplink between your switch to the router, then you are going to configure it as a trunk port. But I just want to ask you one more question, guys. Okay, can anybody answer for this? Let's go and check it. Let's say one of my customer, I have a switch here, which is DrayTek switch. Inside my DrayTek switch, I have configured 2 VLANs. So let's say this is my VLAN number 10, and this is my VLAN number 20. And let's say port number 1 to 5, and here I can say 6 to 10, I shifted into this. Let's say I have connected one access point here, the DrayTek access point, guys. So this is my DrayTek AP, and I want to configure 2 SSIDs. One SSID for VLAN number 10, let's say that is I want to use it for my staff. This is my staff SSID, and this is I'm planning to keep it as a VLAN number 10. Okay, guys, this is belongs to a VLAN number 10. And I want to configure one more SSID, that is for my management. Then this is my management SSID, and I'm going to keep this SSID for VLAN number 20. Can anybody tells me what is the port configuration for this? So let's say this is my port number 20. The access point is connected there. By the way, this is your PoE or PoE plus switch, guys. PoE or PoE plus. Okay. Can anybody tells me what is the type of the port? This port especially. The port which is connected from access point to the switch. The port number 20. Is it a access port or is it a trunk port? Can anybody answer for this? Let's go and check it. Okay. Yes, actually somebody is asking the question. Yeah, they're asking that forbidden, what is forbidden VLAN? Forbidden VLAN is nothing but you're not going to transfer your traffic into that specific port. So that is called forbidden VLAN. And one more question, inter-VLAN routing is possible or not? Yes, inter-VLAN routing is possible. That's very easy, guys. You just put a tick mark, then automatically, it start doing the inter-VLAN routing. And what is hybrid VLAN? So the hybrid VLAN is nothing but you can tag multiple, untagged VLANs, you can add it. That's what. But whereas if you configure as a trunk port, in the trunk port, you can able to specify only one untagged VLAN and remaining all are the tagged VLANs. But whereas hybrid, you can add multiple untagged VLANs. Yeah. So somebody is answered, guys. Thank you so much. Total 4 people are answered. That's good. So the trunk is the right answer. But again, my question is that which IP address the access point is going to pick up here? So this is access point. You said that we will configure it as a trunk. Now you need to tell me the access point is going to pick from which VLAN, guys. Can anybody tells me, please? It's very interesting, guys, because once you configure 2 SSIDs, one SSID for VLAN number 10, another SSID for VLAN number 20. Okay, those ports you can configure it as a tagged ports. That is, I agree with that. So the tag port is that you are going to say tag is 10 and 20, you are going to make it in your trunk. Okay, but the access point is going to pick from which VLAN? Can anybody tells me, please? No, it's not going to pick from VLAN number 20. Okay, somebody is saying that regarding PVAD, VLAN 0. Wow, super. Somebody is Mr. Really, you are super. Okay, guys, here you need to understand there is because sometimes, this is what you need to understand, guys. So whenever you are going to make it as a tag port, keep in your mind. So here what you are going to say, you are going to say 10 and 20 is the tagged. And there is a untag is by default is VLAN number 1. Okay, guys. So VLAN number 1 is going to consider as a untag. Okay, so that in your DrayTek switch or in your DrayTek router by default, whenever you are going to connect, if you notice that there is a default VLAN is there. So the default VLAN is going to fall under into untag. So whatever subnet you configured there, so the IP access point is going to pick from there, that IP address. So that's why you guys can see here. Very good, guys. So many people are asking nice questions. Yeah, you guys can see here, whenever I'm going to say trunk. So let's say that I say trunk. You guys see here by default, the PVID is selected as VLAN number 1. In case if you want to change that, you can do that as well. That's not a problem. And also you can see in the tag VLAN, you can able to select it, which VLANs you are going to tag. Are you clear, everybody, guys? And whenever you click apply, then by default, the untagged VLAN is going to come as a 1. And forbidden VLAN is nothing but which VLANs you don't want to transfer, so that you can able to select it. I selected 15, 16, 17, right? Those are the tagged VLAN. And in case if you want to select the forbidden, you can able to select it as well. Hope you guys are clear. I think so. Yes, because the default PVID is 1, you can change to VLAN number 10. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. Super, sir. So that here what you can do as per here, that's why some people, what they do, they are going to configure the management VLAN, right? So that they are going to keep all their devices into the management VLAN. So let's say my management VLAN is 60. So that time what you can do, the PVID, you can keep it 60 and you can configure the DHCP pool for 60. Are you clear? In your router, you can configure the DHCP pool for 60. Is it clear, guys? Are you okay with this? All right. So next one is that, so these 2 things are very, very important, guys. And second thing is that I want to give you one more scenario. Let's say that I have my DrayTek switch here. And here I have configured like a VLAN number 10, VLAN number 20, and VLAN number 30, and VLAN number 40. And I have one more switch here. I just configured VLAN number 10 and VLAN number 20. And here I have one more switch here. I configured VLAN number 10, 30, and 40, and 50. Now you guys has to tell me, now I have connected a uplink. Now I have connected a uplink here. So first of all, what is the mode of these uplinks? So let's say this is my 10G1 port. This is my 10G2 port in the DrayTek. Okay, guys, in the DrayTek, if you see here, we have a switches. Most of these switches are going to support 1 gig and 10 gig uplink. Now you guys has to tell me, this is your 10G1, which is connected to, let's say this is my switch number 1, and this is my switch number 2, and this is my switch number 3. Can anybody tells me please, 10G1 to, so I mean switch 1 to switch 2, I created one uplink, which is connected with 10G1 here anyway. And here also I connected 10G2. So now these are the uplinks. So what is the mode of this uplink? Is it access port or trunk port? Can anybody give me an answer, please? Okay. Okay, super. Nice, man. So most of the guys are saying that it should be a trunk port. Okay, that's correct. It should be a trunk port. And this is also a trunk port. And which VLANs you are going to allow it here? Which VLANs you are going to allow it? For example, now switch 1 to switch 2. What are the VLANs you are going to allow? Can anybody tells me, please? Let's see that. Okay. It's a trunk, that's correct. And what are the VLANs that you are going to allow it here? Here. What are the VLANs that you are going to allow between switch 1 to switch 2? Guys, these are the things are very, very important. Why? Because whenever you are going to deploy at the customer sites, so most of the time, these are the challenges. Why? Because if you see here in switch number 2, the customer don't want VLAN number 20 there, because there is no user who is sitting there on VLAN number on that switch number 2, that area. And again, if you see here, switch number 3, there is no user who is sitting there for VLAN number 30 and 40. You get my point, guys? Are you clear or not? So let's say this is my main switch, so I must create all the VLANs. So that's why I created all the VLANs here. Okay, but again, if you go with switch 2, VLAN number 10, 30, 40, and 50 is there. So in this trunk port, which VLANs you are going to allow? And which VLANs are the forbidden VLANs? And which VLAN is the default VLAN? Can anybody tells me, please? So my question is very simple and straightforward. In this trunk port, okay, what is the PVID? What is the tagged VLAN? And what is the forbidden VLAN? In this trunk, the first trunk, this is your trunk number 1, this is your trunk number 2. Can anybody give me an answer for this? Let's go and check it, man. I'm so curious. Okay, nobody is giving me answer so far. I think one guy is answered. Super. You're right, Mr. Matthew, you are right. That's perfect. Remaining people, can you please try? And you need to give me, Mr. Matthew, again, you need to give me what is your PVID here, what is your tagged here, what is your forbidden here, between the switch number 1 to switch number 2. Yeah, can you please try? And as well as somebody can help me out between switch number 1 to switch number 3, the port is trunk port, and what is the PVID, what is the tagged, what is the forbidden? Can anybody answer it? I'm not sure. Guys, are you able to understand? Wow, super. Mr. Matthew, can you please write it properly? So the trunk, because guys, why I'm saying that, DrayTek, they have a very good switches, guys. Recently, I have worked for one of the very good project with my partner, and it was really awesome because the customer requirement is similarly like this. It's a totally different requirement. So they have a multiple VLANs, and in one IDF room, they don't want to keep all the VLANs there. So in another place, we have a different VLANs like that. So that's why whenever you come to this point, make sure that you should get a familiar. That's what I'm asking the questions. Can you please give me an answer for it? Okay. Okay, super. Okay, let me write it for you guys. So between the switch 1 and switch 2, the PVID is nothing but it's a 1, guys. And here the tagged VLANs, because these VLANs I want to tag. Which one? 10, 30, 40, and 50. Okay, and forbidden VLAN. So I simply say that 20. I don't want to send any 20 VLAN traffic. Yeah, super. Super, sir, Mr. Khalid. Yeah, Mr. Khalid, you were right. That's correct. So similarly, guys, you can play around it. But in case if you are going to configure all the VLANs, there is no problem for it. Maybe you say that's issue, I'll configure VLAN number 20 also. What's wrong in that? There is no wrong, guys. But you can say that forbidden VLAN is 20. I don't want to pass VLAN number 20 in this trunk. Okay. And similarly, if you go with switch number 2, if switch number 3 here, 10, let's say I configured 30, 40, and 50. But I want to allow only for 10 and 20. So that time what I will do, I will say the forbidden VLANs is, okay, I want to allow 10 and 20. So forbidden VLANs are 30, 40, and 50. And tagged VLAN is 10 and 20. And default VLAN is 1. Guys, why I'm saying to you, let's say you keep one computer here. Okay, one PC you keep it here. And this PC, you didn't keep it into any VLAN. So by default, this PC is going to fall under into VLAN number 1. Okay, guys. But indirectly, this VLAN number 1, we are going to make it as your management VLAN. Or else what you can do, you can say that my management VLAN is 60 and you can change it. Hope you guys are clear according to this topology. Are you clear, guys? Why? Because most of the places I notice that they don't understand the concept of the VLANs. They don't understand the trunk, which, they will simply tell you that, man, this switch is very complicated to configure it. Because once if you know that, what is untagged, what is tagged, what is forbidden, and your job is more easy. So the first thing is that you need to identify whenever you connect a access point to your DrayTek switch, make sure that, okay, if you want to configure multiple SSIDs in this. So let's say I want to configure SSID 1 for VLAN number 10, SSID 2 for VLAN number 20, SSID 3 for VLAN number 30. So this port, we are going to configure it as a trunk. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we are going to say this tagged port, we are going to say 10 is allowed, 20 is allowed, 30 is allowed. And untagged means the access point has to get the IP. So that should be from VLAN number 1. Then there is no forbidden here. In case if you have other VLANs 40 and 50 is there, those you can make it as a forbidden 40 and 50. Is it clear for everybody, guys? Yeah, because why I'm saying to you, some of the time whenever you configure it, what you are going to do, because I have noticed this, because the access point maybe is getting the IP address from VLAN number 10, or maybe the access point is getting from 20. You are not clue. You don't have any information. You don't know where it's getting. If it is a single SSID, your job is easy. You will say, oh, Superman, you will keep it into access mode, and you finished out. But whenever you configure the multiple SSIDs and each SSID you want to keep it into different VLANs, then there is a challenges. I hope this is clear for you guys. Is it clear for everyone? Yeah. I'm sorry I'm taking much time. Okay. Yeah, somebody is trying to ask me why we need to make a forbidden VLAN. Because right now we have a hybrid concept is there, right? So in the hybrid concept, what we are going to do, some of the VLANs, okay, we are not going to allow. So that time we are going to use this concept, guys. Yeah. So the choice is yours. Still, the choice is yours. Let's say if you say that I don't want to select any forbidden VLAN, there is no problem for it. So maybe you are from the other vendors perspective, maybe from HP or from Cisco or from other vendors perspective, they have only two VLAN, untagged VLAN and tagged VLAN, like access port and trunk mode. So in case if you want to work into that style, yes, you can work it. But in the DrayTek, they have, you can able to explore yourself into the next level. So that's what you can, if you want to configure it, yes, you can able to configure it. So next one is that, can your port belongs to voice and data VLAN? Yeah, yes, that's correct, sir. You can keep your port into the voice and data VLAN. You can do that. And how to force IP from VLAN number 10 for some devices which is not supporting VLAN tag. So now this question is that, so that's what I'm saying. The VLAN unaware devices, unaware device means they don't know what is VLAN. Then we will keep it as an access port. That's it. Then there belongs to be a VLAN number 10. And sometimes when you see some devices like IP phones and all, you can manually, specify that what VLAN you are going to configure it for your data and what VLAN you are going to configure for voice. I hope this is clear for you guys. Yeah. Now let's move back to our presentation. Just we'll go through quickly, guys. Yeah. Now we have a routers, and especially in the routers, we have a Soho routers, which is a small and small office and home office routers, like a 29152135 these are the routers are there. And we have a routers which is actually I have taken here broadband, guys. Mainly I have taken broadband. Why? Because we don't have in Dubai, especially in the Middle East, in Dubai, we don't have a router which can, the service provider is giving broadband connection. We don't require ADSL or VDSL routers. But still in the DrayTek portfolio, we have a ADSL routers, but mostly we recommend that to go with the broadband connection. Directly, we are going to connect the Ethernet cable as your WAN interface. And again, we have a small business routers, which is VGA 2927 and 2927 LTE router. Guys, this is the router. I really like it, man, because, you can configure your WAN interface as your WAN, Wi-Fi WAN. So that's the beauty of this one, guys. So for example, Wi-Fi WAN is nothing but, let's say my neighbor, he provided me Wi-Fi access. He gave me the password for his SSID. So that SSID, I can configure it in my router as a Wi-Fi WAN. So that's the beauty of that, man. This router is always in my bag, and most of the time I'm going to use this router. And again, we have a 2866 and 2866 LTE. Guys, and also I want to share some important information. Whenever you are going to choose a router, please check the concurrent calls. I'm sorry, concurrent sessions, guys. Concurrent sessions. So each and every router, how many concurrent sessions is going to support? This is one of the very important thing. That's why if you are not aware of it, please go through the data sheet of router before you are going to suggest to your customer, because we have a different routers are there, and each router has a different specifications, and it's going to fit according to the customer requirement. So that's why you always go through the specifications and you can see, then after that you can propose to your customers. Then after that, if you go with medium size business router, which is VGA 2962, this is one of the fast moving model, and high performance router, which is 3910, guys. So 3910 is my favorite router, and you can connect up to 8 WAN connections in this. 8 internet connections, and good thing is that it comes with SFP plus. There is a 10 gig ports also there, guys. So that you can connect directly to your switch to 10 gig, then you will get an awesome speed. Yeah. So within the internal network, if you are trying to make a communication, then it's getting 100% speed that you are going to get. And it has a copper ports also there. It has a fiber ports also there. So the choice is yours, how you want. And by the way, as you know that by default, there is a all these internet connections belongs to a single pool, so that it does the load balancing automatically. You nothing to worry about it. And these are the very good things. And if you want to configure the VPNs and all, let's go and see one scenario, guys, for the VPNs. Let's say one of your customer, let's say that he has a location in one of the location in HQ, which is in Dubai, and one more location which is in Abu Dhabi. Let's say the branch is in Abu Dhabi. So whenever you have 2 different locations, guys, your job is more easy to configure the VPN and all. So as you know that we are going to support IPsec, right? And version 1 and version 2. Then after that, we are going to support SSL, LTTP, PPTP, OpenVPN, WireGuard VPN. So we are going to support multiple things, guys. But most of the time, we like to configure the IPsec, either version 1 or version 2, right? If you have 2 locations, let's say this location and this location, both they connected to the internet. Then after that, on top of that, what is our plan? We are going to configure the VPN, right guys? So this is like, we can call it as a site to site VPN, or we can say L to L VPN, LAN to LAN VPN. This is good. Let's say your company, let's say your customer, he grown and he just started one more branch. It's in Sharjah. And one more branch is started in, let's say, Ras Al Khaimah. That time what we are going to do, guys? So indirectly, these sites also is connected to the internet. This site also connected to the internet. So that time, usually what we are going to do, we are going to configure the VPN between Sharjah to, let's take different color, from Sharjah to my HQ and Ras Al Khaimah to my HQ. We will configure one more VPN, right guys? Now my question is that, can anybody answer it for me? Let's say the person who is sitting in Abu Dhabi, can he able to talk to Sharjah? Do they have a communication between them? Let's go and check it. Do they have a communication, guys? Yeah, there is a question somebody is asking. VPN connection with 5G mode, no public IP, it's private IP from ISP. Yeah, so that's why we have a VPN matcher, sir. You can use the VPN matcher. Yeah, by using the VPN matcher, you can connect it. That is one option. Or else the second option is that make sure that at least one side you should have a public IP. That's it. Because public IPs are the routable IP addresses and private IPs are the non-routable IP addresses. If you have both sides of the private IPs, you cannot route. That's why you are going to take the help of VPN matcher in the DrayTek. Or else what you can do, you can just request your service provider forward all the traffic to your internal private IP. You get my point, sir? That's what you can do it. And again, do you have a router with fiber? Yes, we have a routers with fiber. If you go through our data sheet and you can able to see it. Okay, some routers are coming with fiber. Yeah, as I told you that 3910, it has a fiber ports as well. And how to force IP from VLAN 10 for some devices, which is not, yeah, this is already answered for it. Yeah. Guys, can anybody give me an answer for it? So right now I have configured the VPN, because the challenge is that if you have a single location, it's very easy. So you can configure the VPNs like anything. But the problem is that since your customer has distributed into their office locations into different locations, like Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, like that. So that time, what you are going to do, guys, you configured one tunnel between Abu Dhabi to Dubai. You configured one more tunnel between Sharjah to Dubai. You configured one more tunnel between Ras Al Khaimah to Dubai. Correct? So if your business is growing up, is it scalable solution, guys? And again, you are going to tell me, Seshu, just configure the Abu Dhabi to Sharjah one more tunnel. And Abu Dhabi to Ras Al Khaimah one more tunnel. And again from Sharjah to Abu Dhabi one more tunnel. And Ras Al Khaimah to Sharjah one more tunnel. And again Sharjah to Ras Al Khaimah one more tunnel. Guys, it's like a mesh. Right, guys? But as an administrator, is it possible to manage these many tunnels? That's why we introduced hub and spoke. Okay, guys? That's why in the DrayTek, there is a very easiest way. The HQ, we are going to configure it as a hub. And remaining 3 locations, let's say I have an office in Abu Dhabi, I have an office in Ras Al Khaimah, and I have an office in Sharjah. So these all locations are connected to the internet. So here what we are going to do, this is my ISP, and the HQ site, we can call it as a hub, which is in my Dubai site. And in the branch locations, we can call it as a spokes. This is my spoke 1, this is my spoke 2, this is my spoke 3. So that from every spoke, we are going to configure one VPN tunnel towards the HQ. So here from Abu Dhabi to hub means HQ, I configured one tunnel. From Ras Al Khaimah to Dubai, one more tunnel. From Sharjah to Dubai, one more tunnel. Then after that, I enable the internal routing. Okay, guys, let's say that here I am going to use 172.16.1.0/24 subnet. here 2.0 subnet, here 3.0 subnet, here 4.0 subnet, right guys? Since your HQ router, he knows that each and every subnet of your locations. So he knows about 2.0, which is configured in Abu Dhabi, 3.0, which is configured in Ras Al Khaimah, 4.0, which is configured in Sharjah. So that whenever this guy trying to communicate to Ras Al Khaimah, Abu Dhabi guy, all the way the traffic will go to your HQ. From HQ, it's going to forwarding to your Ras Al Khaimah. So this is called hub and spoke, guys. So if anybody wants to do this, if you have a multiple locations, then you don't need to configure multiple tunnels. You just establish a single tunnel from your branch towards your HQ. That's it. Then HQ is going to take care of it. But again, you have a question here, man, in case if HQ is down, that's why I'm telling you, take one more router and you can make it as an active standby. That's the beauty of that. Hope you guys are clear. I think there is a questions. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. That's easy to go. Yeah. Yeah. All the, because it's a common fundamental, guys. Whenever you are trying to configure, it's a common fundamental, right? So let's say I have a HQ. Then I need to use a different subnet. Let's say I'm going to use 192.168.50.0/24. Maybe if I want to allow multiple subnets, yes, you can go for it. I want to create one more subnet, 51.0. And again, here in the branch, you must have a different subnet, 192.168.52.0, 53.0, 54.0. So make sure that these subnets, it should not be matched. Otherwise, what will happen? It's going to be conflict. But simply, some people are going to tell you, yeah, still you can do it, but it's a bad practice. You can achieve it, but still it's a bad practice. So whenever you have a multiple locations, each and every location, make sure that you try to configure the different subnets. That's always the best practice, guys. Yeah, then it's easy for you to establish the VPN. And one more thing, guys, let's say in this site, I have a public IP. And by the way, in the DrayTek, they are going to provide for you one DrayDNS is totally free for you, right? So you can register the DrayDNS and it's going to associate with this public IP. And in the branch location, you don't require any public IP. No public IP is required, right? You just require the internet connection. That's it. It could be a private IP also. That's not a problem. So in case if you don't know how to configure these kind of VPNs, you just go through our YouTube channel, and there I already created a couple of, I have just uploaded some videos. One side, if you have a public IP, and other side, if you don't have a public IP, or if you have a private IP, it's just an internet connection. Still, you can establish the VPN. And one more thing, guys, some people, they used to tell me, man, still we are not able to establish the VPN. Don't worry, use SSL, man. Okay, you can use SSL. One side, you can configure your SSL VPN server. Yeah. And other side, you can configure your SSL VPN client. Right, guys? So the beauty of that SSL VPN traffic, nobody can block. Maybe the defining, for example, to access your internet, either you are going to use 80 or 443, right, guys? For HTTP and HTTPS. But since you feel that my VPN is not coming up, what can I do? So simply don't worry, guys. So configure one side as your SSL VPN server, and other side you can configure your SSL VPN client. That's it. So in HQ side, you can configure it wherever there is a public IP and ready DNS, you can configure your SSL VPN server. Means, as you know that the terminology for the DrayTek, there is a dial in, right, guys, and dial out. So dial in is going to act as your VPN server, and dial out is going to act as your VPN client. So that's the beauty of that. That's your VPN client. So there is a lot of features are there in the DrayTek, guys. Only you need to explore and make sure that whenever you are going to do the configuration, first of all, design and specify your subnets, and like what you are trying to achieve it, please make a topology. Once you are clear with the subnets and everything, then you can proceed for the configurations. Let's move to the another question. Yeah, there is no question so far. All right, let's move back, guys. I'm sorry, I'm just taking another 5 to 10 minutes, guys. I'm going to finish it out. Yeah, Let's move to the wireless access points. So as you know that we have a access points which can support Wi-Fi 6, and it has a dual band 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and we have 960C and 1060C. Wow, these are the very good access points, guys, because we have given almost 20 to 25 access points to recently one project we have done it, and through our partner, and it was very happy, and it was working fine without any issues, because customer just need 2 SSIDs. We have configured it and we have tagged it. Yeah, and we have a dual access points, which is AC technology. So these are the 912C, 903, 802, and 1000C. Okay, and you can assign each and every SSID to different VLAN. That's possible, as you know that. And again, guys, recently, as you know that, and by the way, in the DrayTek, the router is going to act as a controller for your all the access points. That is one. And also the access point itself is going to act as a controller. That is also possible. Yeah. And also you can configure all your access points through your wireless. There is a app is there, wireless app, DrayTek wireless app. You can directly use that app and you can configure it. So that's the beauty of your DrayTek, guys. And one more interesting thing is that, so initially I have mentioned that there is a ACS, access control server. So this is your network management system. So in case if you want to manage your DrayTek router, switches, and wireless access points from the single dashboard, you can able to manage it. You can configure it each, and it's like a cloud-based solution, guys. Okay, and you just enable it. Then after that, you can able to get a access of each and every device. Then from the single dashboard, you can just access it. Especially if you are in the integration side, then simply for your customer, you can create one network. Inside network, you can add whatever access points, switches, and routers is going to comes to him. You can add it into that account. Then after that, you can able to manage from the single dashboard. And in case if the network is down, or in case the internet is down, then immediately you are going to alert, and immediately the ACS is going to send alert for you, so that before customer knows that, you know that the internet is down. Yeah. So please, I request you to everybody, since if you are working only for DrayTek routers, my personal request is that work for switches and access points along with ACS. So if anybody wants to come for training here, you just send us an email to your respective account manager from DVCOM. So they are going to reply back to you, and they are going to allocate for you slot, and you just mention there for which device you want to test, and let me know, so that I will allocate my time for you guys, and I will be sit with you. And Jomans are also there. As you know that Joman sir is the senior person for the DrayTek, so that he will be also available, and we will share a lot of real experiences and all, we can share it. Yeah. Any other questions, guys, so far? Any other questions? Yeah. Can we wrap up this session, guys? If you don't have any questions, then we can close this session. And please give us your valuable feedback, and please subscribe our YouTube channel. And yeah, you can reach us at, that we are in Bank Street, Atrium Building 506. If anybody wants to come to our office, you just visit our office. And if you want to test any of the products, you are always welcome. Yeah. Thank you for joining this webinar. I hope this is very informative, guys. And if you want to see a demos, the free demo, please drop us an email. Okay, sales@datawise.com. And for support, please send us an email, support@datawise.com, and support our YouTube and social media channel. Yeah. And over to Noel. Noel, do you want to speak anything? Yeah.
All right. I hope, like I said earlier, I hope it was a productive session for all of you. And like Seshu mentioned, we do have our YouTube channel where this, for those who missed and those who want to go back and listen to Mr. Seshu's class all over again, it will be uploaded live in YouTube. YouTube soon. Probably by tomorrow it will be there, so you can go back and see it again. And you can follow us on our social medias to see all about our products. We have other products as well, not only DrayTek, but and if you want demo, please don't hesitate to contact us. We are there always to help you. So yeah, that would be it. And we'll be do wait for our emails. We'll be having a lot more of webinars and events coming up, and we will be sending you mails for that as well. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for staying till now. And yeah, that would be it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.